Yo, what a better way to start off my day and this video with a ×3 carbon fiber pack. So before we get into the M3 GTR finals, we're gonna get my day 1100 reward or whatever it is, and let's see what we get. Now, my luck has been terrible recently. Every CF I've opened has been an ultra. I haven't gotten an epic from a carbon fiber in more than 2 weeks now, and I've opened like more than 20 CFs, and I haven't pulled a legendary since February. So I don't know if things can change. I don't think it will, but I'm in a win-win situation anyway, because if I get 3 ultra rares, that is exactly enough to max out my super light. Yep, I'm finally working on the super light. Let's see what we get. Lotus Elan SE, Honda CR-V, and a Bentley Azure. I don't know if we got any extra rares, or you know, if we're getting any extra super rares or no. All right, so yeah, straight up 52. This is looking good. All right, let's see what we get. 55 Chevy Tahoe Custom and I'll take that. You know what? That's fused, but I'll take that. We got a Bentley ceramic pack on day 1106, but wow, man, wow. I can't say much, I guess, but like, I haven't pulled an epic from a CF in a long time. Like, I can't even remember. This was like before the Jag finals, you know, like, it's been a while. But yeah, I'll take these 3 in, sure. That will be exactly enough to finally max out my super light, because as you can see here, it's on its final fuse, baby. I'm finally maxing this out. Thank God that we had a really useless tri-series this coming like week, so I don't need to max out any epics I need for a final. So yeah, I can finally use this and deploy it in clubs. It's been too long, man. It's been too long. Next up on the project list is the Peugeot 306. Also, I've been getting a lot of like messages on Instagram recently saying, Blossom, how do I join your Discord? If you want to join my Discord, just know it's Patreon only, and the link is in the description, okay? Just to answer all those questions. But let's move on to the challenge clip. Yo guys, what's going on? Blossom is back, and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Today I want to talk about the new challenge layout. We've had about 2 weeks now, maybe even a little more than 2 weeks since the new challenges have come into the game, and obviously I've taken the time to play the challenges, kind of get used to it, look at the new prizes, and of course experience the entirety of the Yoto challenge. So today I want to talk about it and give you my thoughts on the new challenge layout and why I think this is a step in the right direction for Top Drives. And I think Hudge did a really good job on the new challenge layout, and I'm going to tell you why. So at the same time of me I'm going to be showing you slides and, you know, analytics of everything that we've gotten so far. I will also have background video footage of me completing the Yoto challenge, and you will see at the end of this me winning the M3 GTR. I didn't need to make videos on the M3 GTR in my case or overhype the situation, because A, we have seen a lot of the legendary challenge already, starting with the 177 a year ago, and B, I knew I was going to win the M3 GTR from the start. That being said though, what is new is the new challenge system, and because of that I want to talk about the new layout. So let's get into it. Yoto, the new challenge layout, the foundation of what we're going to see in the future. So the first thing I want to talk about is obviously the elephant in the room, right? I want to talk about the Yoto challenge. After the Yoto challenge, I'll talk about just the new features that come with the new challenge layout in general. So the Yoto challenge, why do I think it's a good thing? Well, if you look at the stats here, in my opinion, there are a lot more positives than there are negatives. Starting us off is, you know, the big one. I think this is the one that most people care about. There's a 25% increase in carbon fiber rewards, okay? We are getting 1 extra carbon fiber. We used to get 3 in a legendary challenge, and now we get 4. One of the main reasons for that is because Yoto was split into 2 sections, all right? I know it was split into 6 sections, but how I see it is that it was split into 2 sections. It was Yoto 1 and Yoto 2 to 6. Yoto 2 to 6 is essentially your weekend challenge. It's the one that gets you the prize cars, the legendary prize cars, and you know, the lump sum of the carbon fibers. But then Yoto challenge 1 is kind of your weekly challenge, and we can see that because Hudge decided to limit the amount of times you could play in Yoto 1. However, from Yoto 2 and 6 it was unlimited. We had like 15 attempts a day, and we could finish it as quickly as we wanted, unlike the first one where it took us exactly a week to complete. So yeah, first of all, extra CF CF because of that extra weekly challenge in Yoto 1. And then the next thing I need to talk about, you know, that's another positive, is that there's an increased amount of cash prizes. Obviously, this replaces the void, which was the removal of the prize boards, and I genuinely feel that the fact that they replace it with these cash prizes, like 5k per every win, is a lot better than what prizes the prize boards used to be. And I'll talk about that in a different slide, because when you find out how much money you can actually win from all 6 Yoto challenges, you would be surprised. It's actually a massive amount, and I'm actually taken aback at how generous Hutch has been with the cash prizes. And I hope they continue with this. I hope they don't see this video and think, oh, we're being too generous, we're gonna nerf the prizes. No, in fact, I think this is a good number, and we'll get to that in a bit. Another positive to talk about is the challenge itself, the timing of it, how it's well paced, and we were given ample time. In fact, I think they were super generous at the time. I've won the M3 GTR about 2-3 days ago now, and I think there is still about 2 more days of the challenge, so you have lots and lots of time to get yourself the M3 GTR. Also, the pacing is really nice because this one is pretty hard to judge right now, but for now I'm going to put it as a positive. Why I say the pacing is really nice is because from Yoto 2 to 6, we were given 100% of the attempts, 15 out of 15 or 10 out of 10 in Yoto 6. In the future, I'm not sure if they're going to continue with this blueprint or not. I hope they do, because I like trying to complete the entire Yoto challenge in one shot instead of waiting a day. It's fine how they did it, and I think I like how they did it where they split it into 2 parts. There was one section which was Yoto 1, which you could play 5 times a day, and then there was another section which was Yoto 2 to 6, which you could just finish in one shot. I like that. I like how they split it into 2 branches. It's kind of like the best of both worlds, and I really hope they continue with this blueprint and not change it up. I think that they're in a really good place with that, and that's why I say it's a positive, that it's well paced and we were given ample time to complete it. Even at the time of recording this video, you still have the chance of winning the M3 GTR because there are still Yoto events going on. Second, I think this is also a huge positive for me, and I think a lot of you guys as well, is the removal of common keys. Alright, the fact that we needed to collect 5 of a single common car, now that was tedious. Spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on common packs just to get one common to get that bullseye, that wasn't a fun experience. Getting whatever those Cadillacs were, whatever the Jags were, whatever we needed for the commons. I did not. Oh, and the Peugeots, right? I didn't like that. So I'm glad they got rid of the common keys. It also helps a lot of players in terms of inflation, in terms of your slots in your garage. For lower end players, you might not have enough slots to collect all these commons. But one of the worst things about common keys is trying to expect the unexpected, trying to predict the future. When a lot of players found out that Top Drives and Hutch was using commons for keys, we started, speculating what is the next common that they were going to use for a key, and that's why I started hoarding cars like the Frank Sinatra edition, etc, etc, etc. So I'm happy that they got rid of that, because that means I don't need to just collect and max random commons, which I think will be key in the future, if that makes sense. I'm happy that that stress is taken away from the gameplay. Next up is the smooth envelope system, right? Now they've removed the common keys and they put in the envelope system. I think it's super easy, just super simple to understand, along with the tokens as well. The envelope system is obviously just so you can enter an event, and the token system made so you could regulate what event to join in order, if that makes sense, because Hutch obviously didn't want us to jump straight to Yoto 6 right away to get the GTR and then work backwards like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They obviously want us to go in progression from 1 to 6, and that was why the token was there. The token was just to regulate things, just to make sure that we progressed in order, and the envelopes were there for us to enter. It was a bit confusing at the start when they introduced both aspects, both the token and the envelope, but once we got to play, and once I played it for a week, it was really easy to understand. And I hope you guys understand that as well. Also, I also said that it was super generous because we were given 10 shots, but we only need 5 envelopes. Honestly, I'm in a situation where I can win all 10 envelopes, but it's nice to see that they're super generous about it. So if you are struggling in some of the events, don't worry, you only need to win 50% of it. In the past, I think they only gave out 8 events, right? And you need to win 5 from 8. So winning 5 from 10 is a lot more generous than they were in the past. Last but not least, the last positive that I want to talk about is that it's more challenging, but it isn't more pay to win. Now, let me explain. okay? Why it's more challenging but not pay to win? That is because it tests a huge variety of your garage, or it tests the variety. Oh, I actually skipped a positive here. So positive number 3 requires a refined variety of the required car pool. Okay, and because of that, I think it's more challenging without being more pay to win, because they really emphasized on the entire collection. You know, it's not the main thing that sets aside a legendary challenge from a tri-series is that it's not supposed to be just 100% high-end cars. This is supposed to be a challenge that's supposed to be challenging by testing your entire, I guess, variety of whatever the requirement is going to be. So why I thought this was more challenging was because we had those track sets, which I found quite frustrating, but I didn't find it frustrating in the sense where it was super pay to win and I had to spend money. No, it was just frustrating because I needed to collect cars that I didn't have. But those cars that I didn't have weren't hard to attain. I didn't need to open a $15 pack to get a single ultra rare, a particular ultra rare at that. No, I just needed to get commons and max commons out. I need to get uncommons, max commons out. That makes it more challenging because not a lot of players might have the commons and uncommons, but it doesn't make it super pay to win because it's not like you need to spend actual cash to get those commons and uncommons, especially since they released 99 aluminums, no, 99 steel packs and 99 basic packs, which were basically your off the ox plastic packs. Now that requires you to grind a little bit, but the packs weren't expensive. It was 3,800 to try and get yourself a common. When you think about it, with a booster, you could get that much cash in basically one club race, right? So this was just an emphasis on players to just experience the other game modes a little more, you know, for players to play clubs a little more, maybe give them a little more incentive. So I like that because at the same time it made the challenges more challenging because not a lot of people were prepared in the super low end, but it wasn't super pay to win at the same time. Last but not least about the Yoto challenge is the only negative that I have. Now, if you think there are more negatives to this challenge, let me know down in the comments below. I was looking at Facebook comments and I also posted it on my Instagram page and asking my viewers what they thought about the challenge, and most of the negative comments I saw were, I'm gonna be completely honest and completely frank, bullshit. Alright, there were people saying, oh my god, it was too hard, I couldn't get enough envelopes, or I had enough envelopes but I couldn't get tokens because I couldn't finish one of the challenge. Most of the reasons of people saying that the challenge was bad was because they couldn't complete it, basically. And don't forget, guys, at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a challenge. It's supposed to be challenging. It's not supposed to be a walk in the park. When you think about it, these challenges are already easier than tri-series, and as a byproduct of that, you know, these challenge prize cards like the 177, the Huara BC are a lot more common than your regular tri-series prize card like a Revolution or a Pro car or a Jag XJ9 or whatever that name was. You know what I mean? So you need to remember at the end of the day, this is a challenge. It has to be challenging. It has to have some level of difficulty. So if you can't finish and you hate it because of that reason alone, that's on you, okay? That's because your garage is just too weak or something like that. Anyway, my minor issue, the one that I found was, you know, there were some rounds where the difficulty was impossible, not challenging, all right? I want to stress on that. It was so impossible that Hutch had to change the cars or the RQ halfway through the challenge itself. I think this only happened twice, one at the low end and one at the high end, but besides that, you know, they fixed it relatively quickly and, you know, it wasn't much of an issue afterwards. So next slide, this is the big one. Let's talk about money. This is the quick one, all right? The number, $447,500. That is how much money you can win in total if you complete the entire challenge. From Yoto 1, you can earn 140k. From Yoto 2 to Yoto 5, you can earn 60k. And from Yoto 6, you can earn 67,500 cash. In total, you can win 447,500 cash. That is huge. That is more than the times 10 ceramic pack, okay? I think a lot of people might not even realize how much money we've won from this challenge until you actually calculate everything together. That is massive. So big up to Hutch on that because that's fantastic. Okay, that's a lot more than we're used to winning, and I hope it stays that way. I really, really hope it stays that way. Moving on is now the next slide, attempts. Now, moving away from Yoto, I just want to talk about, you know, the new club layout in total. Not the new club layout, sorry, the new challenge layout, although we do need a new club layout at the same time. And I want to talk about attempts, the positives and the negatives. So the good thing about attempts was that there's more room for experimentation, and there was a amazing short-term leniency. Basically, within a 24-hour time period, you can play as much as you want. You can experiment as much as you want, and there's no pressure that you will lose a ticket, or there's no pressure that you have to get everything right in 5 tickets. If not, you have to either wait, or if you're out of time, you have to spend your own money to buy more tickets because you have to spend gold to purchase tickets, all that kind of stuff. So in a 24-hour period, you have basically as many attempts as you want until you get 3 stars, which I think is absolutely fantastic, right? It also encourages more consistent playing, because that means that because you only have a 24-hour period to get maybe 5 races done to basically stay ahead in the challenge, you have a net expectation, right? Like, the positive is that you can race as many times as you want, but the drawback is you need to have a perfect run of 5 within 24 hours. If not, you will fall behind in the challenge, if that makes sense, because attempts do not stack up, right? So it encourages consistent playing. It means you have to play every day. This is especially for challenges where you only get 5 attempts a day. For 15 attempts a day, unlimited, like we saw in Yoto 2 to 6, that one, not really consistent playing. I mean, I guess you came back every day after you won every envelope and then you completed the entire challenge, but you get what I mean, right? Also, it's less pay to win, because that means, I don't need to spend tickets, I don't need to spend real money on gold to buy tickets over and over and over and over, just to make sure that I can experiment the right cars that I need to pass the challenge. So in that sense, it's a lot less pay to win. I really like that. All right, now next one are the negatives of attempts. So the negatives is that, once again, no more speed runs, right? You can't do speed runs anymore unless Hutch lets you, okay? So once again, we're gonna use the analogy of the 2 Yotos. You could speedrun Yoto 2 to 6 because you had 100% of attempts, but you couldn't speedrun Yoto 1 because you could only do 5 races a day, if that makes sense. And kind of like the KTM Expo Challenge, I really wanted to finish the KTM Expo Challenge the moment it was released, but I couldn't because we only got 8 attempts a day, which meant that you needed to play all 3 days and get a 100% record throughout all 3 days, because if you missed a single day, you wouldn't win the KTM. And that's where the other negative falls in, because Hutch dictates how early and late they want you to finish. Failure or tardiness can be detrimental. Okay, now why I say tardiness is, let's say, we need to look at the Hutch demographic, right? Not everyone that plays top drives is a 12-year-old that sucks at the game and sells their McLaren 12C. There are actually a lot of working adults with families that play the game, and I know this because a lot of them are my patrons as well. And sometimes they need to go on business trips. You know what I mean? I guess not in this time and age because of COVID, but like, let's say looking into the future when everyone has a vaccine, right? And things slowly go back to normal. Let's say you need to go on a business trip, you don't have access to your phone, you can't play top drives for 24 hours. So if you're in a cutthroat situation like the KTM finals where you miss a day of playing, that's it. You can't win the KTM anymore, because those are 8 attempts that you'll never get back, and that's like a progression in a 24-hour period that you can never earn back. So in terms of tardiness, it might be detrimental, because let's say you went on a business trip, you couldn't play for a day during the KTM challenge, you come back, you only have 2 days left in the challenge, and you get a 100% record on the next 2 days, and you get 16 out of 16 races, but you can't do the last 8 because time's gonna run out, because you missed the first day, because you couldn't use your phone on the first day, because I don't know, you couldn't access your phone, maybe you were camping, maybe you're on a business trip, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I mean by how tardiness can be detrimental, and of course failure is super detrimental as well. If you fail to get the amount of certain races you need done in a single 24-hour period, although you have unlimited attempts, then you might also lose a really big prize, if that makes sense. But those are my pros and cons of attempts. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. Right now, I think that we're in a pretty good place with attempts. It's not, I don't know, I just think we're in a pretty good place. I just feel like it's balanced for some reason, but let me know what you guys think. But overall, what I think is that the new challenge system is a great way forward. I think Hutch did a great job with it, and that's what I have to say. Those are my pros and my cons, and for once, there are a lot more pros than there are cons. And, you know, big up to Hutch for that. I mean, I give credit to Hutch where credit is due. Obviously, I'm also known for bashing them because they do a lot of things wrong. But I have to be honest, they did the challenge right. And hopefully this is a path in the right direction for the game. Hopefully maybe clubs might get a new layout, and you know, it might be a lot more fun. You know what this new challenge layout has shown the players is that Hutch is capable of doing really great things, kind of like Great Exhibition and the Yellowbird campaign. But at the same time, we get things like ER, which also shows the players that Hutch can do some really bad things, and this year's no exception. You know, the nerf to the Pescarolo and the fact that they weren't going to buff it was also a huge, like, you know, punch in the throat to the players from the Hutch team. That being said though, this video isn't about the Pescarolo. This video is about the new challenge system, and I think they did a great job about it. Let me know what you guys think in general. What do you think about the new challenge layout? But yeah, at the end of the day, I think they did a great job, and let's just get to the point where I win the M3 GTR. Like I said, no surprise. I knew I was gonna win it already, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, stay safe, and you know, if you like what my content and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing below and joining the Patreon as well. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember, stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.